Okay, checking back in with you. I was just doing Q&As and people were asking about Bitcoin. And so I thought it was just worth it for me to make a video on thoughts on Bitcoin right now in 2021. Because I've made some in the past in 2017 and I haven't said anything since. So just so you know, I said it. But I don't have anything to prove, and I don't have that much Bitcoin either. What I did want to note to you with you guys is that I think that it's just pretty obvious where the world is going. The financial system is changing. Okay, the structure, the power structures are changing, and it's less about what we want to happen and more about what is already happening and realizing what's going on here. There's only so many years that a system can maintain in excess. There's only so long that the system that is constantly consuming in excess can maintain that trajectory until something starts to break down. And we're already seeing that in America, the rest of the world, as well, but especially here where I believe that we've completely overcapitalized ourselves in a way. And even in 2020, some of the things I've been reading were that in 2020, we produced 1/3 of the dollars ever created in the history of the country. Meaning that we pumped a lot of money into the economy, and we're doing something similar in 2021. And it doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican, every 4 years, every 8 years, every term, each political party has their idea about where money should be allocated and what we should be doing with it. But in most cases, it's not necessarily going to the proper channels. It's going to somewhere where, well, there are other people who are getting the majority of the benefit, but it's probably not you. Seeing that we're obviously not even caught up with keeping people above water, but then knowing that even these kind of crappy attempts to keep people solvent are gonna have a massive impact on what happens over the next decade or two, because you just can't dump this much money into the economy and not expect things to change. And it's already been like that. I think America has been running at a loss pretty consistently now. And how the books are done is one thing, and the reality of it is a different thing. The economy going up isn't necessarily always, or the stock market going up isn't always necessarily an indicator of what's happening on the personal economic level of you and I. So it's something to really think about. The money system is changing. We do see definitely a shrinking of the middle class. We know this as well. And then when you look at what's actually happening with the financial system, you see, well, there's a solution in some ways to some of these questions. And it's not gonna be in the government giving us a more stable currency. It's not going to be in us going back on the gold standard. It's not going to be in, them figuring out how to fix the economy. I don't think it's going to be fixed. I think that paper money is going to continue for a long time. I think that countries are going to continue to trade with each other for a long time, with paper money, and we're going to keep our ledgers, and we're going to stay in debt to China, and China's going to be in debt to other people, and we're going to play that game for a while. But in the background, what's happening is this new system is being installed and created, this new cryptocurrency backbone, which is already kind of, it's being installed it's been installed over the past 10 years, that will continue to be installed. This cryptocurrency backbone for, decentralized financial transaction, which, if you think about it, you might feel that you're in control of your finances now, you're in control of your money now. And to a certain extent you are. You have access to all your bank accounts, everything should be good to go. But what you don't realize is that the banks who make the money are the ones who can't fail. And because they can't fail, the government has to prop them up. And because the government has to prop them up, more money has to be printed if there's ever a shortage. And because more money is printed whenever there's a shortage, money constantly loses its value. And the more value it loses, the more that has to be printed. And this happens in expanding and contracting cycles over history. But there's also, this element of us as people wanting to not be beholden to the financial system, us wanting to have control over where our money is going, where we send it to, who we can receive it from. If you ever tried to make transactions maybe overseas, I'm constantly met with either Chase blocking a wire payment, or a fee being associated with me sending money over, or things taking a long time. I don't understand why holidays are still bank blackout days. It's all automatic. Why shouldn't it go as soon as I say it? Snap it within a second. Why do I have to wait multiple business days to send and receive money in 2021 when everything else is instant? Especially when I see that I can make a transaction on a Sunday and they can withdraw money that same day, but they can't deposit it on the same day. It's interesting, and I wonder how much money the banks make just off of those seemingly normal periods of holding, if they're holding for a day here and a day there across millions and millions of accounts over a period of decades. I wonder what that accounts to in terms of interest created. So it's just things like that, and the fact that, let's be honest, taxes are getting worse and worse. Not just in the US, but across the world, just because governments who I think have decreasing legitimacy are searching for ways to continually insert themselves in your business. And I talked about this in an earlier newsletter of mine a couple weeks ago. It's like taxes are the price that we're supposed to be paying for the government to provide us with services. And those services range, but the biggest service is protection from violence and chaos. And the funny part about taxes is, at the end of the day, there's supposed to be money that we pay for protection. But what they don't say is that if you don't pay this money, you're going to need protection from those who are supposed to be protecting you. In other words, the government will be the aggressor if you don't pay them to protect you, because you need to pay them. And you never signed up to pay them, you never asked to be a citizen, you were just created that way, and now you have to be beholden to that. And of course, if you were to look at how much services are worth on the free market, you'd realize that a lot of things are giving you, whether it's the roads they say they're creating, or the trash service or the postal service, all those things are, in many cases grossly and exorbitantly overpriced as a result of the bloat that goes into the system, and you get passed on that bloated price as part of your dues. If we were to pay for many of the services that we get from the public sector privately, it would be much cheaper. And so we pay for those things, and what we're really paying for, if you look at our budget, is mostly defense and debt. Those are the biggest expenses on the United States line item sheet. And it's interesting that most of us would be perfectly happy to never go to another world war again, and yet we constantly are somehow approving to buy new F-35 jets that then subsequently don't work, even though they cost $1 trillion, and all this money goes down the drain, and then they just raise more money to fill the gap, which never quite fills. And all that to say that crypto is something that, in theory, if you're accumulating this blockchain currency where it's truly anonymous after you have purchased it, or it's truly independent after you purchased it, then in a system where you can just transact Bitcoin to Bitcoin, where you can just transact in crypto and not take the money back out and pull it into dollars, theoretically you'd only be taxed going in. You shouldn't be taxed then spending the money. So you wouldn't be taxed unless you pull it out. And of course we don't want to pull it out. And the value of the crypto is going up and up as the price of as the value of the dollar is going down. The dollar is weakening and other real assets are exploding as a result. And so crypto is only getting more. I'm using crypto as a catch-all for especially Bitcoin and other things, but Bitcoin essentially is consistently on the rise, and the dollar is becoming weaker and weaker. So you can see where this is going. People want to have something, a way of transacting in a currency that's not traceable or as easily taxed. They want something that's going to work for any country, any currency without any restrictions. They want something that is increasing in value and that seems to be finite. I wouldn't be surprised if something happened where more Bitcoin was created, but it seems like it's finite. It seems like there's 21 million Bitcoin only, and other resources, other Bitcoins or other cryptos can be created as well. We can have other finite resources as well in the crypto space, I'm sure. We're looking for something that can't just be created on a dime, no pun intended. And the US Treasury is also thinking about creating a digital dollar, which I'm not really sure how will differ from what's actually already on the books, because most dollars are now digital. But they're thinking of getting into the digital currency space. But fiat currency itself, will continue probably for as long as humans continue, but at what value will it be? And of course, what will it mean to have two concurrent financial systems running, one that's on the books, so to speak, and one that's off the books? That's already been happening, it's going on right now. So just stay woke. The things that we encountered in the industrial era in terms of, work an hour for $1 and turn that dollar into gold, that's over. You know, you don't have to work a certain amount of time for a certain amount of money. And that money is not a finite resource. So you need to be thinking about how you can leverage your time to create more money and how you can turn that money from a devaluing, depreciating asset into an appreciating asset. So the flow would be use a business to create cash and turn that cash into crypto. And there's your formula. Okay, that's all I got for you today. I don't have any big call to action. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. You can check out my other videos as well. And oh, by the way, I have tools for entrepreneurs if you want to check them out. alphamentorship.store, sales, marketing, organization, productivity. You'll like it, so check it out. And leave a comment below if you have any more questions, all right? That's it. Much love. Talk to you soon. Peace.